and welcome to Chamber Showcase. I'm Lisa O'Laughlin, and I am very happy to say I can take my mask off here. We are keeping our social distancing, and I'm just happy to be done with it, as we all are. Welcome back to our second episode of our special summer series, in which we are doing this every 2 weeks, hoping to help all of our businesses get up and running again, taking our masks off, opening our doors, doing business as usual, or trying to do it as the new normal is. And that's why we're here, to support all of that happening. There is so much going on in the Chamber that we have only one guest today, and it is our president of the Malden Chamber of Commerce, Donna Denoncourt. And Donna, we're going to be talking about a lot of things today.
Yes.
So welcome. We still probably will keep our
as
distance.
much as we want
but we'll
to,
go like
yes,
this.
yes.
And again, busy times for the Chamber. It never slowed down. We talked about that last week,
Yes.
what has happened and what's about to happen.
Yes.
So I thought you could come in and give a little more detail about what's happening. And we have so much to talk about. We have about 130 years of stuff to talk about.
That's
so
right.
we could be here all night.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
right.
So anyway, president of the Chamber, let's start with that. What's going on with the Chamber?
I mean, I think the biggest thing is, I did watch a show 2 weeks ago, very good show with Joan, the executive director, and Kevin.
Kevin, yeah?
And they really kind of highlighted a lot of what we did during COVID, you know, being that resource for businesses as a one-stop shop of lots of information, grant information, who's open, who's not open. We did educational information. Now I feel like we can actually do some more celebrating of who the Chamber is and what we are, and reinvigorate our businesses back to why we're doing this summer
Every
series.
2 weeks, yep.
So I think the biggest thing I want to talk about is Malden's Chamber is 130 years old, 1891 to 2021. And we are one of the oldest chambers, and we want to celebrate that. So we have decided all year, we've modified our logo. It says Malden Chamber of Commerce celebrating 130 years. We've already done a couple of things. And one of the biggest things, to kind of jump off of what Kevin started last week or 2 weeks ago, was Malden Summer Festivals. Well, we have taken one of those nights, and we are calling it 1891 night. And it's July 24th. It's a Saturday, so the summer series is going to be 6 Saturdays this summer.
Right.
And we grabbed one of those Saturdays, and we are 1891 night.
1891.
Exactly.
Fun.
Yeah, and we're just doing the whole night will be based, you know, on that timetable, right? On that time period.
Yeah.
We are actually going to hiring some folks to dress during that time, so costuming. But we're also asking people to come and dress in that time period. And for lots of folks, that's kind of a fun thing to do,
Sure.
right?
Yeah.
So we're going to be doing that. We're working with the library. They have such huge historical archives about Malden and the city and the Chamber. So we're working with them, and we're going to be doing some banners that afternoon. We have 17 banners that highlight a variety of businesses over the time period, not just 1891, but even over that time period.
I see.
That really made Malden the city that it was.
The infamous Jordan Marsh.
Yeah, Jordan Marsh. And that's
Sparks.
probably the most recent history. Talk about much longer, you know, during some really places that were launched here in the city. Just some cool stuff. And what we're going to be doing with those banners is we're going to ask businesses to be hosts of those banners. So we have, for example, one of the banners talks about a first Black-owned barbershop. So we're going to work with a couple of our barbershops in town and ask them to be the host. We're going to have the banner there. You know, all 17 will be
great.
displayed throughout the city.
Oh, that's great.
And then we'll be hosted.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's one. 1891, we're asking the mayor to dress as the mayor at that time.
Oh.
Mayor Wiggins.
He'll do it. He's so fun.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We are going to have some music of that time period. We're working with the library. I'm going to have kind of a kickoff, hopefully, on the lawn. And then we're working with the restaurants to do an 1891 price fix.
Aha.
So you know, obviously the menu will be open, but we'll have special meals for $18.91. So those are some of the things we're talking about. We have magicians hired. We have an illusionist hired that we're walking. We're going to do some vendoring. So it's going to be kind of a fun afternoon, early evening kind of event.
Yeah. Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
So July 24th
Yes.
is the Chamber's session, so to speak, of
Yes.
the Mayor's Summer Festival. That's your
Yes.
night,
Yep.
and it's all the 1891
Yeah, and it
theme.
won't be exactly.
Yeah.
And there'll be other things
Other
happening
well,
during the
sure.
day. Yeah, it's not just all hours, because there's some things that are happening every Saturday that during that
Right,
festival,
right.
during that summer series. That will happen every Saturday. We're just kind of adding our flair
Yeah.
and our special
Sure.
niche.
Well, you'll
that
have
day.
a crowd from that, and they will get a crowd from your
Yes,
event. So
yes.
that just really,
Yep, but
it's
there
a
were-
great partnership.
Yep, and we're
The
calling it
city and
1891 night.
Yeah, and the city and the chamber partners so well anyway.
Oh.
That this is just another great time.
Wonderful.
So yeah, the chamber, it's pretty amazing. The oldest chamber.
Yeah,
I mean,
one of
that's
the oldest.
something.
We're
One of
trying
the
to
oldest,
find
sorry.
out, actually, we are looking to see how old are we? We know we're one of the oldest, and that's what we use that line, but really, how old are we?
Yeah. Yep.
Can I talk about another thing we've done to celebrate 130 years? So we wanted to make it all year long, right? So we've done, for example, we actually, on the very first woman president for the Chamber of Commerce was Florence Burns.
Yes.
Okay, well, Burns Funeral Home is still a member of the Chamber. Her son is still a member. And so we did a story about her, being the first woman. We did it during Women's History Month. And then we interviewed Rick, and just to talk about his mom and who she was as a nice way to kind of tie in that historical significance. A fun thing we did is we worked with Donut Villa,
Oh yes.
which is Middlesex Ave. Yeah, Middlesex Ave, right, by John Brewer's. And we worked with them and we created a Malden donut and a Malden Chamber 130th donut. Have you tried the donut yet?
I have not tried the donut yet. No.
You must. I should have brought one.
I'm gonna put that
sorry.
right- yeah, you
I
should
should
have.
have brought a donut. That's my fault.
We could just stop the show, and can we have time to do?
Yeah.
Can I send Donna to the donut show?
Oh my gosh. I think he might be showing it now. Hopefully you're going to
Okay.
see the donut because it's
Well,
wonderful.
All right. Well.
I think
saw
Brian
that,
just showed it. It was
yeah.
awesome. So that's the 130th.
Okay.
We worked with them. They actually had designs we did some voting.
Yeah.
And now it's available all year long.
Really?
Yep. You
Okay.
can just call Donut Villa, you order the donut, Malden donut, so people can use it for their high school graduations.
yeah.
We sent it to a couple offices as a way to commemorate.
Yeah.
And it's, the Malden donut and the Malden Chamber 130 donut. So we've just had a fun way, and we launched it at the Mayor's State of the City breakfast back in February. That was kind of our launch.
Yeah,
And a
I
fun way
see.
to launch.
Yeah.
And then we worked with them, and I think we're going to show it, the video.
So he showed us a donut, a picture,
Yeah.
but I want to see the whole video. So let's just take a break here and take a look at this wonderful video from Donut Villa
And
the
the city and the mayor.
and the mayor.
Just stopped at Donut Villa, picked up a dozen Malden Chamber of Commerce 130th anniversary commemorative donuts. You get first dibs. Hey, did you get any of the Donut Villa donuts for the Chamber of Commerce?
No.
Chamber of Commerce 130th anniversary donuts.
I didn't get any donuts.
Hey, did you get any of the Chamber of Commerce commemorative donuts?
No, I didn't.
Hey, do you know where all the donuts went? I have no idea.
Oh, that's great. And
isn't
they ate
it?
them all. The mayor ate all the donuts?
Can you believe it, Mr. Mayor? Wasn't that great? I mean, this is the kind of partnership
Yeah.
we are fortunate to have with the city. I mean, this is just one fun example of our partnership, but as well as the serious ones.
Sure,
Because
sure.
obviously there are serious issues that come up.
Yeah.
But I feel like we can have fun and we can be serious.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's an example
Yeah.
of one of our fun. So we're airing
That
that
is fun.
video all year long.
Yep, that's great.
And it's on, I know it's on
and
my
now
Instagram
it's on Chamber
page.
Showcase. It's built right into the show here, so
Exactly.
that's even better.
Exactly.
So lots going on with the 130th, but there's other stuff going on. Let's take a minute,
Yes.
just talk about a little bit how many new members, other events that are happening.
I have to say, we are so, last year, so during COVID, we had 36 new members. so we had no idea, right? Everyone didn't know what COVID meant, right? And what that year meant for us. And the fact that we had so many new members, for us, I think it really was, we feel like a strong statement about the value we can bring to businesses. And we really feel good about that. And so May alone, we have 6 new members. And just really excited to hear. And we're actually doing a couple of things. You know, now that this mask mandate is slowly being lifted, officially May 29th, right?
Yeah.
We already had in the planning, any business who has considered joining the chamber before, or even if you are in the city or nearby the city, we're hosting an event June 10th to just entice people to learn more about the Malden Chamber of Commerce. And matter of fact, we're partnering with Cappy's, who is also a longtime member of the chamber, and we're going to do a little summer drink. And we're going to have some fun raffles during the event. But again, it's an opportunity. And we're going to have some testimonials from some of our members talking about how the chamber has been a benefit to their business.
Sure.
So we're doing that June 10th.
Oh, that's great. You know, I frequently comment on this show and any networking event, the value of the chamber. And this is one of the values. Under normal circumstances, I'd have 2 different businesses every month.
Right.
I will be adding other businesses every 2 weeks now, but it's just one of the many values that it's just a great.
Exactly.
And that's just one of the many.
Yeah,
The support that you were able to provide to all the businesses, the educational resources, the directions where to go between you and the city, the mayor's office.
Yeah.
You know, people know what to do. I mean, well, they figured it out. I shouldn't
Yeah.
say they knew. You didn't even know, but you figured it out and put it out
Created
there
a
for them.
roadmap.
Yeah.
And if we didn't know, we at least knew who to reach to.
Yeah.
And then we could get back to
That's
folks
great.
on what we can and can't do.
Yeah.
And what's available and what's limited or what people weren't aware was an issue. And then we could bring that issue and say, okay, how do we address it? You know, sometimes a little easy and then sometimes not. You know. The other thing that, just to highlight, kind of back and forth with the 130th, is Arthur Kahn.
Yes.
Longtime member of the chamber, longtime business owner, really in the 70s and 80s, wrote a great article. We do a monthly e-newsletter that actually goes out to 1,000 subscribers.
Wow.
And he did a newsletter in April on life on Pleasant Street when his business was there. And he talked about the businesses. He wrote a nice article, him and his wife Barbara, wrote a nice article about the different businesses. He talked about actually the newspaper person, or I think it was actually a newspaper boy, who would stand at the end of Pleasant Street, the other end, now that we're open.
Yeah.
And would always be there every night. He talked about the officer that would walk up and down and would get to know. He just had a nice article about kind of the fun times of Pleasant Street in Malden back when he was a business owner.
Yeah. Oh, cool.
And and the favorite restaurant that people would go to. Of course, I don't remember what it was now. I'm sorry, Arthur. But it was a great article.
Well, you have to read the article in the newsletter or on the chamber's website. They can get it.
We always post
anybody
all
who
the
likes nostalgia, see the
exactly.
website. So Arthur Kahn, for people that don't know Arthur, was a jeweler.
Yep.
Here in Malden, and a very active member of the Chamber of Commerce for many, many years. He is retired for many years now.
Yes.
But took the time to write this story.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, because like you,
Yeah.
he is on the advisory board.
Yep.
So we have, for folks who don't know, we have a board of directors, about 18 board members on the board who are all active. And then we have an advisory board, and then we have an honorary board. The advisory board are people like Lisa, who really provide some insight, value add to the board, and they have lots and lots of experiences. And then the honorary board are people who are more like, who are retired, but are still committed to being a part of the chamber.
Yes, I am retired.
Yes, you are.
But
we're so happy to have you
So
back,
when I
Lisa.
look back at my own time in the chamber, I've been here a long time.
Yes, you have.
Bylaws, you have to come off the board for a break and then come back on.
Yep.
But I got by that because I was the director of this chamber showcase, so I had to stay on
Yes.
in the advisory capacity.
Thank you.
And I did that, and then I was voted back in again because my time had elapsed, and it's gone on and on and on. But you know, you talk about Arthur. There's been so many people before us that have made this chamber, and I think of one when I first joined. It was Ted Coates was the executive director, and I have to say to anybody who's watching the show, if you knew Ted Coates, he was just the funniest guy. I mean, he was a great director, really, and knew the streets, and you know, really walked the streets for us well. But he did this show. He was my predecessor sitting at this table, and he was not a real comedian, but he was a comedian. And oh my gosh, I think of the Taste of Malden, and we used to have this big gambling night. I forget what it was called. There was a funny name to it because you were like last standing or something. But anyway, he would do promos for the shows. And they're hilarious. In fact, they're so funny, I think it's worth taking a look. So let's take a minute and see a couple of roll-ins of Ted Coates, former executive director, under my initial membership years, and now taking over his spot on this show. Let's take a look at Ted Coates.
You know, there are times when a tea party just isn't enough. So your chamber has just the thing for you, the Taste of Malden.
How you doing? All right. We got some mini shepherd's pie and puff pastry, and also a Guinness beef stew from Hugh O'Neill's in Malden Center. You know, my favorite coffee in the world is Ethiopian Union Jack. Yeah.
That kitchen floor. You ain't gonna rock and roll no more. Yakety yak. Just finish cleaning up your room. Let's see that dust fly with that broom. Get all that garbage out of sight.
Steve, what's going on here? Why are we at the Super 88 Plaza?
A lot of stuff's going on. You gotta come down. We're gonna have antiques. We're gonna have custom cars. And we're going to be giving out trophies. If any good citizens of Malden have any cars they want to enter, it's free. Come on down. You gotta come down here. We have trophies. We have free raffles for the car guys. It's going to be a great time. It's going to be unbelievable.
And we are back. That was a great, great video. So, of course, the 125th year, 5 years ago, recorded a lot of that history, and now we can add the last 5 and saw a lot of faces, Ted Coates being one that I mentioned. You can't forget Jenna, our executive director between Ted and now.
Yes, exactly.
So I worked for Jenna. I was on her board.
Yeah, me too.
And worked with her and continued all the. I did the Taste of Malden every year for we had our 10th.
And the video you did for the taste. If you haven't seen that,
it was fun.
People need to see that. If you have not seen that video, the Taste of Malden video from 2020, when we couldn't do taste,
it was a virtual taste. Yeah,
it was. It is a fantastic. I've actually used that a couple of times.
Really?
With new members, just to show them some of the things that we did in order to modify.
That's right.
So we could still show off the great restaurants of Malden, but in a very different format.
Right.
And I've used that video a few times.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
And you and I were on the red carpet over
know.
on Pearl Street when with the debut of the show.
It
was fun. That was a great time. But again, great memories on that tape. So I just wanted to give a shout out to Jenna, great person. I enjoyed working with her. We had a lot of fun as well. And right here is his own self, Mr. Ron Cox,
A
behind the
current
camera
board
as
member.
always.
Yep.
Um,
Current board member.
yeah, and he joined the chamber, he tells me, in 2006.
Oh, long-time board member.
Long-time board
He had to
well-
have taken some time off because you're required by bylaws.
Well,
Back to
he
your
was. I
point.
got him back on this last, he was
Oh,
off, and I
okay.
recommended him to come back
Oh,
on.
okay, there we go.
I did.
Okay.
So I happen to have, if we can get this on camera or maybe post it afterwards, but this is a photograph, an antique, no. This is a photograph of Ron Cox in 2006 at the dinner with Diane. We'll get these posted better, Diane and the former mayor and two former
Yeah,
mayors
and Diana
there.
was the former
She
president.
was the former president,
right?
so
And
this
she-
is this is like a list of everybody
Yeah.
of importance for one photo. So
2006
we'll
you
get
said?
that on there. 2006 Ron joined.
Oh,
yeah.
that's awesome.
And continues obviously to be another partner with the
Huge.
city and with the chamber. So that's great.
Huge partner.
Yeah.
Yeah. very
Okay. So
Can I also mention too, as part of kind of the goals for the chamber, on a more serious note, we actually just sent out last week, I think, last Wednesday or Thursday, a survey to all our members. Really just trying to assess where they are now with COVID and how we can support them as they start to reopen. You know, who are they as a business first as they respond to the survey, and how can we help them? We offered some options, and we just launched that survey. So I think that's another important way to, because we're doing some educational series starting actually next month, and one of them is talking about COVID in the workplace. We actually have one of the physicians from Cambridge Health Alliance, another member, who's going to talk about
great.
kind of COVID in the workplace.
Yep.
How do you adjust as employees, as an employer, working together? I mean, it's a little complicated, right?
Sure, it's very complicated.
Yeah.
And you have an education committee that's relatively new.
It is.
And it's
It
run by
is.
an educator.
It is. Thank you. Thank you to Mr. Alex Dan from
Give him a
Mr.
shout out
Valley-
there,
Mr.
yeah.
Valley Regional Charter School
Yep.
is the chair of the education committee, so it's perfect, you're right. But him and his committee are working on, they did the survey actually, and now they're working on, they have a couple, the other educational program we have coming up, in addition to the COVID one, is talking about really mediation in the workplace. How do you mediate employee difficulties?
Sure.
And Candace Julian, who runs Pathways to Restorative Justice, is going to be leading that session.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, so it's
Yeah.
really a nice skill set, an
Yeah.
important skill set
It
to
is,
have.
it is.
Because sometimes the workplace can get can
Well,
be tense.
There's a lot of tense relations in the world, and
Yeah.
so it spills into the workplace.
Yep.
There's no doubt about it.
Yep, yep.
And then you get into the fear of are you vaccinated or not, and it's none of your
Right,
business. And so
right.
there's only going to be more issues, I think, with
Yeah.
with that. So that's another great education program.
Yeah, so we have a couple of those
Yeah.
coming up,
Okay.
as well, and then we'll form a couple of the others based on what kind of feedback
Yeah.
we get. So I'm excited about that. So we're doing a lot of, and then we've had a couple of networking events already.
Yeah.
We did a health and wellness virtual fair. I think, Lisa, you were on
I
that as
was. I
well.
came into your booth.
Yes,
I
you
did, or you came into
And that
mine.
was
I can't remember.
Very unique.
Yeah.
We did that with, I think, 8 other chambers.
Chambers of Commerce. It was a virtual health fair. If you ever went to a health fair, there's tables
Yeah.
all around the room, and you go table to table to table and exchange business cards for
Yeah.
networking, but also provide information to anybody who's interested. So just like everything else, it was remote.
Yep.
And I had never done that technology
No, me
where
neither.
I had my booth,
I did
my
too.
table,
Yeah, me too.
and you could come into my
Yeah.
table, and I could go to your
Yeah.
table and chat, and it was good to see you
Yeah,
there
I know.
as well.
Again, it was another example of
Yeah.
how we just morphed
That's right.
into trying to do a similar program, but with a different approach.
Right. Yeah.
And plus, I think like everybody's discovering, we're doing different things that we wouldn't have done before.
Right.
Right. It's forced us.
That's just going to say that
to-
it pushed
to
our
tr-
limit.
Right,
pushed our
pushed
limits.
our comfort level into trying different things. And the Health and Wellness Virtual Fair was an example of
Sure,
that,
sure.
and working with 8 other How often do we work with 8 other
know,
chambers?
I know,
So that
yeah.
really broadened your base as a business
Yep.
and who you got to connect with.
Absolutely.
Which was really a
Yeah,
positive.
no, it's again, I can't say enough of how much the chamber has been doing all throughout. We'd have to stop talking about what we did for the past year
Yeah.
and now just move forward to what we're doing. And you've
Yes.
brought that all to light. Lot of good things happening for
Yes.
sure. And Donna, I would be remiss if I did not mention to our viewers as well that Donna also extended her presidency for another term because of COVID and nobody really stepping up. It was a newer board and just a lot of factors. So you have given a yeoman's amount of time and effort. So on behalf of the chamber, all of our businesses and everyone, I want to thank you for that.
nice.
And I want to thank you for being on the show as well.
Always enjoy it, Lisa.
So
You're a
there's a
great
lot
host.
to recap.
There
Isn't
is.
there?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's just take the last minute or two that we have.
Okay.
So the July 24th, 1891 night.
Yep.
On the library lawn,
Yep.
maybe,
And then
along with
throughout-
other
Into Pleasant Street. Yep,
Yep.
exactly. Library Lawn into Pleasant
into
Street.
Pleasant Street with other activities
Yes.
in combination with the Mayor's Summer Festival.
And everything will be on the Malden City website.
Yeah.
That's going to be the main website.
Good, good. And everybody has to go get a donut or two.
Oh my gosh, I hope they get inundated.
Yeah.
Although Aaron may not be happy.
Yeah.
Aaron's the owner, but
Yeah.
he'll,
Yeah.
it's awesome.
Yeah, well, that's great. He's a member, and they've
is.
changed. You know, a lot of people don't know of the Donut Villa down there, and it's
Yeah.
more than donuts.
Yes,
So I'll give him a plug.
That's a great point.
I'll give him a big plug on that.
I
It's more than
actually had
donuts.
that- It is. I've
Yep.
had a couple people just assume it's just donuts.
Yeah,
You're right.
Right. So he needs that out there, that it's
Yes.
more than donuts. Okay. So I'm just looking back at my notes. There was so much to talk about. And
I want to also just remind also about the banners, which I think
Oh,
is
the banners,
a
that's fun.
Great archival, commemorative,
Yeah.
public display
Yeah.
of the history of Malden. It is, again, that's Doris St. Martin at the Malden Public Library. Talk about yeoman's work.
Mm-hmm.
She and the archival stuff she did in order to create those banners.
Yeah,
It's
oh,
gonna
I
be-
bet.
We're going to launch those this summer
sure.
for the first time.
I think of Converse must be a big one in that group.
Oh, and that's where it all started from.
Yeah, absolutely it did. And she was planning the big 100th for
Yes.
Converse. She was a guest on my show. I was sharing Malden
Okay.
history that I knew about the Converse family and the Malden visiting nurses, Malden community nurses.
Yes.
He funded them to start
That's
up in
right.
the 1900s because of the factory fire. So it was all good. It was just great information. So I will definitely be looking forward. I will see you, if not sooner, and I hope it is sooner, but I will see you July 24th on the lawn. So I'll go like this again. Actually, I just want to give you a big hug, Donna. So thank you so
High-five
much
to
for
you,
all you do.
Lisa.
And we'll see you all in 2 weeks for another session, a summer session of Chamber Showcase. Thanks for joining us. Visit the Chamber Showcase. Get this information. Get a donut. And we'll see you on the lawn on July 24th, dressed in the 1891 attire. All right.
job,
Very
Lisa.
good. Stay well. Thank you.